Chapter 14, Lesson 14. We are looking at the opacity effect, and we are also going to be looking at the keyframing of opacity. So the timeline sequence that you should have open is Desert Jacket. And one of the things the book is telling us to do is expand our video 2 track so we can see what we're doing a little bit better, because we want to make the rubber band visible. So I drug up here on this dividing line, or you can hit Control or Alt with your mouse wheel and you can scale the track as well. So there's another shortcut way. But what we're trying to do is expose this here line that runs through the video clip that is called the rubber band. And we want to try to bring our opacity level to 50%. And this rubber band has different effects as far as what tool it's affecting. It usually defaultly manipulates the opacity, I believe, but if you wanted to change it, you could right click right here and you can highlight over motion, and you can do any of these here. Right now you can see opacity is chosen. We can also do time remapping and ultra key. So depending on what type of effect you're working with, you may want to pick something different than what we have. But opacity is what we need. Make sure your clip is highlighted, and then you can manipulate your opacity level by, of course, up here in the effects control panel, but this time it's wanting us to do it in the timeline method. So make sure you're hovering over top of this with your selection tool chosen, and I'm going to left click and just drag it down. And you can see the numbers are changing. The book wants us to get it as close to 50 as possible. There it is, and I let go, and you see the results up here over on the right hand side. It has made the entire clip set to 50% opacity. Then if you look up here in the effects panel, you can see that is accurate, shows 50%, and there are no keyframes here. That means when I did it with the rubber band, the keyframes weren't engaged, so it's not a variety of 100% and 50%, 100%, and so forth. You can put keyframes in at a later point, but if you needed to do an overall change to an effect, this is one way to do it. All right, next up, it wants us to use keyframes. So switch over to your Theft Unexpected sequence. If it was not already open, navigate to your bin and open that sequence. Notice it's put in that text that we talked about a little bit earlier that has the alpha channel. So of course, when you lay it on top of this video clip, you can see that these two are working nicely together. That's considered a composite. One of the things the book is wanting us to do is repeat the process where we can see video 2 track a little bit nicer. We want to be able to see that rubber band. So again, you can size this up so you can see it, and you can also zoom in if it wasn't very big. So I have a nice good view of this. And then it's going to be command click on a Mac or control click on Windows. We're going to actually add some keyframes directly to the timeline clip versus using the effects panel up here. And again, this is a preference as far as which one you like. Right now we are just going to get 4 keyframes put in, all at the 100% opacity. So it was control click for a window or command click for a Mac. So you hover on top of this line. I'm going to put 2 dots here close to the beginning, and then come down here and put 2 more keyframes towards the end. And the book is now wanting us to animate those keyframes. So we have a fade up and a fade down on this sequence. So I can just click and drag this one down, and I'm going to try and make it look like the book, so it was kind of coming down here over to the edge. And this one I'm going to do the same thing, going to bring it down over to the edge here. So when we play this effect now, that text should zoom up, and then it will go away. There it is. So that was a really fast way to animate the ends. In the past, we've used transitions to create that effect, and you still can, but if for some reason you were trying to do some more manipulations or a very specific timing, this use of keyframes on the image itself is kind of a nice little thing that you can do. Again, just another way to do stuff. And if I didn't like the exact numbers, I can always come up here and manipulate it further in the effects control panel.